Hi, thanks for joining me again. These are some etudes from Charlie Porter's 25 etudes, lyrical etudes for trumpet. This is number 6 in B flat minor. Again, read the instructions. There's a lot of good stuff in here. And I feel Charlie's frustration because, like me, I think he has a desire to really help, players who are coming up to learn skills, and is trying to teach them what he's learned and what he's able to do. And but when you write a little, set of directions or a description for an etude like this, you only have a few lines of language to try and communicate, so you have to pick one thing. Well, I hope I won't go too long on this one, but I'm going to probably pick several things, which this video format allows me to do. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and play through this one in B flat minor. This is number 6. Again, you have an interesting key that you're playing in, but we have to get used to all our keys. Here we go. Oh, I didn't change keys. Bad mistake. I stayed in 5 flats and now I've gone to 2 flats. So, right at the key change, this is Allegro Giocoso. Actually, I'll play 2 bars before so I make the transition, and that's what I would do if I were practicing. Nice one. I'm feeling like I should work on all these a little bit more. But again, I'll give you some advice I've shared before. Don't spend too much time banging away on one. See what you can learn, how much progress you can make. Maybe only work a section of it, but keep doing that day after day, just a few minutes. And that investment is going to allow you to, it'll kind of cook down in your mind until you remember it, and then it'll start to, all the connections will start to take place. So what are some of the things I would be concentrating on this? Well, one is a swing. This says it's 6/8 and 60 to the dotted quarter note. Then your dotted quarter note tempo changes to 120. Of course, that's double time. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, do, dee, do. And when I made the mistake the previous time, and I didn't change the key, it's because I was thinking, oh yeah, I have to tell people about this time change. So we're going 1, da da ga da ga da ga da ga, 1, 2, 3, d d d d d d d. So you have a 3 feel, the 8th note's inside the dotted quarter, and then the dotted quarter becomes 1 and 2 and becomes the basic pulse in the next section. So that's one of those transitions that you have to, like me, you'll get goofed up unless you have a pretty good idea of what's coming ahead. Now, Charlie mentions that he tries to explain how to deal with the challenging little things in the middle. And this is in the Allegro Giocoso section, the second line of it. This is the second line from the bottom of the page. You have these figures that are quick slurs. Now, I'm trained and have a lot of experience as an orchestra player. In the orchestra, you become accustomed to playing everything pretty literally to start, because when the whole group comes together, you have to have the mechanics. You don't have time to talk about it. You just put everything in the right place at the right time, right pitch, right rhythm. You know the styles. Everybody will agree on them. If you're learning new music that nobody's seen before, there's a big process of that learning that's going on for everybody. And so the basic stuff you have to bring in is play the right notes at the right time. So that can get very literal. But the literal thing actually helps you. It simplifies everything. So when we get to this spot in the piece, let me take just the pickup. Now you probably heard the term slow leads to smooth, leads to fast. That's a term from the military, I believe. And there's a lot of truth in that. So the key is when you play it the way I just played it, that tempo, can you play it smoothly? If you can't play it smoothly, that's the first thing you're trying to do, because if you go faster and it's not smooth, then it gets a little bumpy. And you can even lose control of the vehicle and go off the road. So you want to keep it nice and smooth. Slow practice works, but it also helps to get the gesture. So another way to practice these things . Now, some of you may know, if you've gotten in the back of the Clarke Technical Studies book, that there's a whole section, maybe it's study number 10, I'm not sure what the number is, where he does this arpeggiation. How's it go? So that's a skill. He's saying, okay, see what you can do with a cornet? You can make chords. And if you're playing in a live acoustic, you'll actually hear those chords as you arpeggiate up through the individual notes. So that's a skill you can learn in the back of the Clarke Technical Studies book if you haven't looked at that already. And here it is. But this does give people a lot of trouble because it directly addresses some of the fundamental issues that we have as players in terms of changing range. How to practice it is the question. So again, I'm going to go to sing, buzz, play. So dum, dum, dum. See how smoothly I can glide. Dum, 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 dum. Very easy. Now that's more difficult to do on the trumpet, because on the trumpet there are slots, right? We feel the places where the notes actually resonate in the horn, and they're either slippery or they're a little bit more stiff. On a C trumpet, they tend to be more stiff. On horns that are designed for the orchestra, they tend to be a little bit more distinct, the slots, because we need to be able to just go doink and just drop in on a note without even thinking about it, know right where the note is, and the note is stable. Whereas on a horn that's used for solo work or jazz improvisation, for example, you really want that kind of loose feeling. And I really like that feeling, but for an orchestra player, that's like, now I have to work a little bit harder in order to make sure that the notes are stable. And it can actually make you tight when you're playing in the orchestra. So each to his own. Everybody has their own things. But the point is, the slots of the instrument are already there. So all I need to do is, . So all I'm doing is this. Honk, honk. Play around with it. See, I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm trying to get the feeling of the gesture. And then as I try to improve it, I do it over the dynamic range. I do it with trying to keep the sound balanced on every single note so that it sounds like just a simple gesture, just like I was singing it. So this is basic sound production and technique on the trumpet. It's very simple, but it's not necessarily very easy. But that's what your goal is. So as you work on this, if you run into problems, any problems with the piece, there are ways, there are solutions to those problems. They may not be apparent initially, but if you get a little creative and start giving yourself permission to explore and play around, you may find the solutions, and that's very gratifying, very satisfying to the player to do that. Now at the end there's something that gives a lot of people problems, so I'll just end with the end, the last 2 bars. And that is you're ascending and decrescendoing. It's, many players would agree that it's more natural to crescendo when you're ascending. And strangely, in the first part of the piece, that's exactly what he does. So you have a similar figure right before the key change, what is about 5 or 6 lines down. So that's kind of a natural thing to do. Whereas in the end, and for most people would agree that takes a little bit more control. The big problem is we tend to choke as we go up to try and get control of the air. Or your breathing system kind of locks a little bit to try and get control of the air. And you have to stay open. In other words, if the air is flowing unrestricted, you're good to go. A good guide for this is just listen to the sound. So if you work this in different dynamics, do it crescendoing, do it trying to keep the dynamic exactly even, and then do it with a diminuendo, I think you're going to give your body and your mind a great chance to figure stuff out. And that's what this kind of practice is all about. So thanks for joining me again. I hope you got something out of this episode. Feel free to visit any of the content on my channel or on my website. If you find it interesting, I'm gratified. I hope you'll subscribe. And I hope some of this is helping you in your practice. Enjoy the day. Enjoy your playing. I'll see you later on. Bye-bye.